Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP. Welcome to That's a Shoot, where we get everything to show about what's going on in the world of professional wrestling. This week, we're gonna step aside on the real life and go to the video game world. We're gonna talk about WWE 2K24. They are having their 40 years of WrestleMania showcase. When the game drops this coming Tuesday, or if you pre-ordered early, or this coming weekend, next weekend I should say. So I decided to take a look back at the matches that are in the showcase mode for the WWE 2K24 and rate them, give them a rating to see which one was the best match of the 40 years of WrestleMania that they decided to pull off. Now, there are some matches that just automatically I remember the match, the rating, and things like that. Things like, that's neither here nor there. There are some matches that I needed to go back, I actually never watched. So I needed to go back and watch and see. Some I had to rewatch again just to be sure, correct? So, yeah. Here we have it. So, for this episode of That's a Shoot, we were taking a look at the matches from the 2K24 WWE Video Game Showcase and finding out which ones are the best. Alright, so as you can see on the screen, these are the lists of the matches that you can play in the WWE 2K24 Showcase mode, 40 years of WrestleMania. So, as we do that, I am going to talk about, from the bottom to the top, each match, what I ranked them, why I rated them, and so on and so forth, right? So, let's go back down to the bottom. Bray Wyatt versus John Cena. I didn't give it a rating, because it wasn't a match. It was a segment. It was a segment on WrestleMania. It wasn't a real match. And I know some people, they love the 5-5 Funhouse because of the things that they did, and it was. I have to tell you, it was entertaining. I was entertained. I laughed out loud at 3 or 4 of the things in that thing, but it wasn't a match. So I didn't give it a rating, and it doesn't deserve a rating. It still doesn't. It's just not a match. I'm wondering if the only reason they put this on the game is because of the passing of Bray Wyatt, and while that would be much, that would be okay. I would have preferred, to be honest with you, if they were gonna put a Bray Wyatt match on the WrestleMania one, go back to WrestleMania 30 and go back to, that match. I'll go to 31 with Bray Wyatt and The Undertaker. There's a couple of things you could have put on the WrestleMania match other than the Firefly Funhouse. So, for me, that's not the thing. Okay, so the next match is the Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant from WrestleMania 3. 2 3/4 stars. Now, listen, this match is not a classic. It's not a bona fide, getter. But this is probably the most important match in WrestleMania history. Because this was WrestleMania 3. This drew that entire crowd at the Silverdome. This was one of the highest rated WrestleManias still when doing the PPV model. And this meant so much for the boom wrestling period in the 80s. So it's one of the most important matches of all time. It doesn't mean that it's the greatest. And I think we all know that. I think one of the things that is different with it comes from this match and the Hogan Rock match from WrestleMania 18. I think the Hogan Rock match WrestleMania 18 the crowd is one of the things that made that so great, and one of the things that made that so wonderful. And yeah, while that one wasn't a technical classic either, it was entertainment personified, and it was sports entertainment personified. And sometimes you come across something where it's not just the story. It's not just the wrestling. It's the storytelling, and it's the crowd. It's everything that gets involved, and that's why that's a 5-star match. While this one doesn't necessarily have all those bells and whistles, it's still as important. It's way more important than that Rock Hogan match from WrestleMania 18. But as we talk about just from the standpoint of the wrestling, the entertainment, and everything like that, it's a 2 3/4 match, which it's still it's average. It's average. Yeah. Once you get to 2.5, 275. That doesn't mean it's just an average match. But that's okay. We'll have that. Hogan and Randy Savage from WrestleMania, was it 5? WrestleMania 5. It's a 3-star match. It's, these guys just, what they did was fine. I really never seen the Hogan and Savage WrestleMania 5 match of the Mega Powers Explode. So I had to go back and rewatch it. Everybody rewatched it. And some people talk about that match as if it's an absolute, trash match, and it's not. It's very good, very entertaining, especially for that back in the day, the 80s type of thing. So totally fine. 3 stars. From that same pay-per-view, Rick Rude versus the Ultimate Warrior. I believe it is, right? Yeah, I believe that's from the same pay-per-view. That's 3-star match as well. Again, great stuff. Rick Rude wins, beats the Ultimate Warrior for the Intercontinental Championship with the help of Bobby the Brain Heenan. It's amazing. Amazing thing, character play from Bobby the Brain Heenan. Yeah. I think some people think that when it comes to Warrior, it comes to Hogan, that they didn't, that they wasn't great, and that's just not the case. They were absolutely, they were absolutely good, doing what they were doing. You didn't expect them to try and do, 40-minute, main events, anything like that. They didn't need to. And what they did worked for both of them. And as you talk about that, Hogan and Warrior, WrestleMania 6, that's 3 1/4 star. Now, the thing about this match, if you think about it, is, again, this is another match that I hadn't seen from front to back. But the thing about this match was that this match was practiced every day between Warrior and Hogan for at least 2 weeks. Apparently, that's the thing about this match, is that they went and they practiced this match every day for about 2 weeks so that they could get it right for WrestleMania 6. Because this was something. This was supposed to be Hogan passing the torch to the Ultimate Warrior and having the Ultimate Warrior, go on, and he be the star, but the biggest baby faces, in the company. So they wanted to make this an incredible match. And again, it was a good match for these guys and what they knew and what they wanted to do. It was pretty good, and it worked out just fine because it was one of the biggest matches ever, and it blew off the Toronto Skydome. So totally fine. 3 1/4 star. Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. This is also another 3 1/4 star. The first women's main event of WrestleMania. This now, as we know, this was set in stone for it to be Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair, for all the way going dating back to WrestleMania 34. It is what Vince wanted. He wanted Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair for the main event of WrestleMania 35. Something happened along the way as Becky Lynch got a little hot. And she got a little hot, she got a little, got a little fan support, and now all of a sudden she was now the it girl. And she was supposed to be, the person that was, and now people wanted her to see this match. But again, like I stated back then, and I'll reiterate my thoughts now, they should not have done this. The best thing for them to do was to have kept the SmackDown title on Asuka and have Becky Lynch go after Asuka for the SmackDown title. Ronda and Charlotte Flair would have went after for the Raw Women's title, and it should have stayed Ronda and Charlotte Flair. Because Ronda was in her hot streak. She was in her rookie year where she didn't have a bad match, it seemed like, at all. And her and Charlotte would have taken it to the limit. Even the Charlotte Ronda match we got at WrestleMania 38, that was pretty good. If we'd have got that match at 35, but they inserted Becky Lynch in, made a true threat. And listen, I'm not saying anything wrong. These girls worked hard. It happened. But I think it would have been better, and it should have happened. And also, what also should have happened was that they would have kept Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey away from each other. Now, obviously, as we know, things happen, and they haven't got together, and it doesn't look like they will. As Ronda, I think, is possibly, happy just doing, a date here and there on the Indies, and she may come back. I don't know. But she needs to find the love for it again. I know that, and maybe that's why she's doing indie matches. She needs to find the love for wrestling again. It looked like when she came back, she didn't really have the love for wrestling. She was just trying to do something almost like complete her contract or whatever. So, and I don't think that's big. I think she signed a 3-year contract, and she still didn't do. She still only did 2 years. So. Whatever, bro. But yeah, that's the next match: Becky versus Ronda versus Charlotte. No, I'm skipping one. Sorry. Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins, 3 3/4 stars match. This is from WrestleMania 31. This is the one where it has that great ending of Seth Rollins going for a stomp, and he does the jump, and Randy Orton kind of flips him up in the air with his head and neck and catches him coming down with the RKO. Fantastic. This was a great match, and it really showed why they believed in Seth Rollins and why Randy Orton was still the guy, why he just came off of being the undisputed champion. Just totally incredible from those two guys' perspective. I tried to go back. I don't think I was doing. I don't think. I know I wasn't doing reviews back then, so I had to go back and rewatch it, and yeah, it was 3 3/4 stars. It was good. Asuka versus Bianca Belair. I had to. I tried to go back and get the rating for this one. I know I did this one. This was from last year. There was no sound on my 39 review, so I'm wondering wow, why was there no sound on it? But whatever. So I went back, I rewatched that one. That one was a good one, 4 stars, incredible. Kevin Owens with Steve Austin. I believe I went back and got that one. That was 4 stars. This one, I'm talking about WrestleMania 38, where Becky and Ronda and Ronda and Charlotte should have main evented that one as well. But when you have Steve Austin, what can you do? And so, especially the way they did it, you would have probably wanted the fans to go home kind of happy by seeing Steve Austin. So there you have it. Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper. This is from WrestleMania 8 in Indianapolis. This is the one that's the story about this one. Now I've seen this a couple times, but I just watched it just to watch it. Didn't watch it for like a star rating or anything like that. So this one I watched again for a star, and it's a wonderful match between the two guys. These guys are, I think, cousins in sort of a way. They might be cousins in the way that The Rock and Roman Reigns are cousins, some type of blood oath or something like that from the family. I'm not necessarily sure if they're really truly actually related by blood, but this was a fun match. And one of this was that Bret Hart does a blade job, and but he doesn't tell Vince that it was a blade. He tells Vince that it was an accident. Roddy Piper, gets him an uppercut, and he blades while he's down the ground, and so when they go back to the back, Vince goes, "What happened? Did you blade?" He goes, "No, it was an accident. He hit me in the, he hit me in the right spot and opened me up." So, but later on that night, in one of the main events between between Ric Flair and Randy Savage, Ric Flair does a blade job on camera, and it's busted open, and that was during a time when where blood was like it is right now. That they weren't allowed to do purpose blood. So he blades on camera, and then he goes back, and Vince just absolutely rips into Ric Flair for doing that, and things like that. And Ric Flair, I believe Ric Flair did it because he probably saw Bret Hart did it. Oh, well, Bret Hart did it, I'm going to make me a blade. So, no, I don't know. Now, Bret Hart didn't do it. Maybe Ric Flair would have done it anyway, because that was just Ric Flair's thing, but you never know. So, but that's the story of the Bret Hart Roddy Piper match, and it's a great match, 4 stars. WrestleMania 21, Eddie Guerrero vs. Kurt Angle. Another great match. I'd watched that again for just purposes of this, and this is fantastic. And it's a great start between those two who had great chemistry, and loved the finish of Eddie Guerrero loosening his boot so that he could slip out of the ankle lock and then roll him up for the 1, 2, 3. Beautiful story. Beautiful story by Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle. Great storytelling there. Now this is the one that may cause people some like consternation, because most people think that Ricky Steamboat versus Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3, that was maybe one of the first 5-star matches in the history of the WWF. And it was, and for the time, I can understand why. Again, you look at Hogan, if you watch WrestleMania 3, you can be entertained by the whole thing, but know that it's not the technical masterpiece as some matches will be, as was with Steamboat versus Randy Savage. And most people think that match stole the show in WrestleMania 3. And yes, and it's one of the things that are the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. The first great WrestleMania match. And I've seen it before, and I wouldn't agree with it. But I wanted to watch it one more time, just to make sure, because I did not put Ricky Steamboat versus Randy Savage on my list of the top 10 WrestleMania matches of all time. And so I wanted to see, so I wanted to look and see, just to be sure, did I make a mistake in not putting it on the list, or does it not hold up? And it holds up pretty much. It's I don't know if you can call it a 5-star match anymore, maybe you can, just because you want to give that, that match the respect that it does. And I can understand that. But I think going back, looking at it, and as I'm doing this list of ranking the matches on the showcase, and which was the best, which was one of the worst, things like that. To go back and say that this was not a 5-star match, in my opinion. It's not a 5-star match anymore. It's a great match, wonderful, great storytelling, everything like that. Beautifully, executed by both men. It's just fell short of a match, of a 5-star match for me. So I give it 4 3/4 stars. As I did also Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair. I did not go back and watch this one because I remember this from last year. And I remember my rating. I give it 4 3/4 stars. I remember that, even though I went back and tried to hear it, again, there's no sound. But I knew this one because I knew that I had given 4 3/4 stars. And Scott Keith, who has been a wrestling reviewer for the longest time, he's been on so many platforms. He has his own blog, Scott's Blog of Doom, and he gave it 5 stars. He gave it a 5-star match. So for him, it was the best women's match, that had ever been in WWE, from what I can remember. There was the, guys like, Jim Cornette said it was the best women's match he had ever seen. And I saw, and I would have probably said the same thing. According to my rating scale, it would have been tied with Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair from Evolution, the last woman standing match. That was 4. I get that one 4 3/4 stars as well. So it would have been tied with that one. But it was fantastic. And of course, later on this year, I gave the first 5-star women's match I've given was to Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch at Fastlane in that steel cage match. I just thought that was tremendously worked and everything. So, yeah, I give it that. So yeah, that was fantastic, and it was a fantastic match, and they went out there and they did all of that stuff because they wanted to prove that they should have been, the main event and not the Usos and him and Seth Owens, but then Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and the Usos went out and they topped it, and they proved why they should have been the match of the match of the night. So they did a good job. So now we get into the 5-star matches. Steve Austin vs. The Rock, main event of WrestleMania 17, the biggest pay-per-view of all time. Yes, of course. This is a 5-star match. This was incredible. This was truly amazing. We're gonna see, that they've taken Vince McMahon and Brock Lesnar out of the game so that you can't play as them. It was gonna be interesting to see how they, if they kept the stuff in from this match with Vince. Well, Vince plays obviously a pivotal part in this match. Steve Austin turns heel because of it. So very interesting to see, what they do with and how they cut it up. But yeah, this was just incredible. This was the main event of the biggest pay-per-view of all time, the best wrestling pay-per-view there ever has been. For the most part, I think I would say yes. Close. It's still very close. WrestleMania 39 was still that's a very close, second or third. Canadian Stampede as well. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Excuse me. But so yeah, we had that. Last was Bret Hart versus Steve Austin. The submission match, WrestleMania 13. Again, that's just incredible. Jim Cornette calls it the old school wrestling match of all time because it's like a fight and everything that goes with it, and so it's fantastic. Yeah, again, this is a match that is just incredible because this is the match that brings back the blood to WWE. There's a submission match, and everybody goes in, and Vince wants to, Vince, and they come up with the thing that to kind of make Austin, because they're doing the double turn, and this is going to cement it, and they won't. Austin has started to get cheered ever since the promo of Austin 316 says I whooped your ass. So he's been cheered a little bit more and more as time progressed, and we get to the point right now where they're going to do the double turn, and they want to cement it, and so they think that they come up with the finish of, Bret Hart puts Steve Austin in the sharpshooter. Steve Austin passes out. And they say, great, but then Bret says, well, that's all good, but I think to make this even better, I think Austin should be bleeding. Because now it makes even more sense that Austin busted open, and that makes even more, because you just pass out, it's fine, but that the blood gives him sympathy, and that's what makes it that, man, he was bleeding, he didn't give up. What a star. And Vince trusting Bret says, okay, and they do it, and then Bret Hart and Austin, starts to bleed, do the match, and bam, sharpshooter passes out. Legend is made. So, truly amazing match. Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon, the first ever ladder match. Now, I've watched this match so many times, and it's. I think it's about taste, because listen, I've come to the point to where listen, the Money in the Bank ladder matches and all the other new finger ladder matches, they are okay. They are crash things, car crashes and things like that. So, and you're drawn for what they is. But for me, for my dollar, the best ladder matches are the matches that are not, spot show matches. It's a wrestling match for the ladder. Sure, yes, they use the ladder as a prop, but it's a wrestling match. There are wrestling moves done. There's headlocks, and there's suplexes, and there's body slams and things like that. And it's just not, well, I'm going to put the ladder here to set up the next spot. It's not that. I'm going to set the ladder up here and then go away and start beating up some other people. It's not that. It's this is the match that is, it's the match that started it all in kayfabe. There's also Bret and Shawn had one at a house show that was untelevised, but this is one of the first televised one. It's amazing. It's great. It still holds up to this day. At least for me it does. And Shawn and Razor did incredible things. That's a 5-star match. Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. 5-star match. Listen, I gave it 5 stars last year. I remember that. And it was tremendous. And it's the greatest match to ever had. It's the greatest main event WrestleMania match, without question. If you did all the main event matches at WrestleMania, this is the one. This is the best one. and it was fun and it was good. And yes, again, I will say this once again: if you think that Cody Rhodes should have won that, you're mistaken. Now, all the stuff that's been going on the past couple months with The Rock and everything like that, I think that came out of nowhere. And you look at that and talk about that. But I think for the story that they were going to tell originally, Roman Reigns needed to win that one, and that's point blank period in discussion for that one. And then, of course, finally, the greatest, not only WrestleMania match, but the greatest match of all time. Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, WrestleMania 25, the 5-star classic, two legends going at it. They went on and they was it going to be put on last, and they said, really? Okay, we'll show you why we should have been put on last. And they went out and just killed it and things like that. And it's just amazing. The storytelling, the streak, trying to get the streak, the eminence, the Shawn Michaels, his God-fearing ways, wearing white, the Undertaker's a dead man, all in black. Everything about that is just fantastic, and it's still the greatest match of all time, and that's the #1 match. So there you have it. Those are my rankings for the matches that are going to be on the showcase mode for 2K24 coming to you in a very near soon. So those are my ratings. Let me know down in the comment section what will be yours. Alright folks, that was it. That's this episode for That to Shoot. Couple of programming notes. This entire That to Shoot is about the WWE 2K24 video game. That I will be getting that video game again on Monday nights. It will be downloaded to my system, and I will be taking all of next week to play it. So more than likely there will not be a That to Shoot next Wednesday, March 8th. There might be one on the 15th. I'm going to say yes, there will be one on the 15th, something like that. There might not be one on the 22nd, Friday, March 22nd, as another video game, MLB The Show, will be out. So I'll be playing that one. So that one might not be out. So yeah, so for the rest of this month, there might not be a few That to Shoot. So, but again, click the notification bell so that when I put out a That to Shoot or any video, as a matter of fact, you will be able, it will come to your phone, your tablet, your desktop, whatever, and you'll get the notification that I have put out a video. So make sure you click the notification bell and have that ready for you. But yes, again, post your comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys feel about the video game. Are you going to get it? Are you happy to play it? And let me know what your thoughts are about my ratings for each match. Do you think that some of the matches are not as great? Do you have any particular order? Let me know down in the comment section. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is your boy, AJTRIP, signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.